LA. You thought it couldn't get any worse? Check this out.
ICE raids are still going down all over the United States. Guess which cities keep landing in the headlines? New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles. But here's the kicker. These are all sanctuary cities, meaning they've made it a mission to limit cooperation with federal immigration agents. Not because they can't help, but because they flat out refuse to. These cities are acting like they've seceded from the U.S., running their own playbook, writing their own rules. Look no further than Chicago's Brandon Johnson. And now, LES Karen Bass is following the same path. And let's talk about Karen Bassa, black woman, mayor of Los Angeles. You'd think she'd stand up for her own people. But nah, just like Johnson, she's throwing all her weight behind immigrants. 'Cause this ain't about compassion, it's about political power. The long game here is simple. Fill sanctuary cities with undocumented migrants, push for their amnesty, and turn them into loyal Democratic voters. Now Karen Bass is going viral for what? For giving out money? Not to homeless veterans? Not to struggling black communities? But to undocumented immigrants. That's right, prepaid cash. Cards. And before you get fooled by the PR spin, oh, it's privately funded, not taxpayer money. Don't even try it. If you believe that, you probably think Santa files taxes. I thought this was a joke when I first saw it. Even Eric Adams got clowned for trying something similar in New York and LA. Lost broke. Or so we thought. Here's what she's doing. Karen Bass revived the Angelino card, originally rolled out during COVID to give emergency funds to residents, but now, documented folks are getting first dibs, not veterans sleeping under bridges, not displaced families in South Central. The priority? Migrants who aren't even supposed to be here? And this isn't some vague promise, it's an official executive directive? Let's talk about what that directive actually says. First, the city's training employees to obstruct ICE raids. Yes, city workers are being taught to block federal immigration operations. Second, LAPD officers are being told to protect undocumented immigrants instead of cooperating with federal agents. And third, this part's crazy. Karen Bass wants access to ICE records. She's asking the federal government to hand over data about detainees so LA can intervene. It's not sanctuary. That's open rebellion against federal law. So let me get this straight. ICE does its job, detains undocumented immigrants. The city of Los Angeles demands to know where they are so they can help them. What are we doing? Karen Bass is essentially telling ICE, you're going to tell us who you've got in custody so we can protect them. That's not policy, that's sabotage. And she's not stopping there. Karen Bass wants to expand access to LA's services for undocumented families. And if someone in your family got detained, they'll cut you a check. Direct cash aid. Meanwhile, working-class Americans wake up and find out their taxes are funding handouts to foreign nationals. Make that make sense. 77 million Americans voted for Trump because of issues just like this. They said enough is enough. And yet, here we are. Cities being hijacked by officials who've forgotten who they work for. Karen Bass has over 3,000 homeless veterans in LA, but rather than help them, she's handing out debit cards to people who broke immigration law. Where's the logic? Don't forget when Karen Bass showed up at MacArthur Park, furious at ICE for deporting undocumented migrants. On camera, she told them to leave like she owned the block. But when it's time to defend black Angelenos, silence. Not a whisper. And folks are starting to notice. One young brother said it best, Karen Bass has done more to protect undocumented migrants than she's ever done to fight for reparations. Let's talk about that. Remember California's reparations task force? That was supposed to be historic. Finally right the wrongs done to black Californians. But did Karen Bass issue executive orders for that? Did she pass out debit cards to descendants of slaves? No, she barely showed up. Meanwhile, she's treating undocumented immigrants like royalty. Meanwhile, the people whose blood built this nation are told to be patient before anybody says, well, some immigrants pay taxes, sure. But that's not the point. They're here illegally, and now they're getting city money because a relative got detained. What about the black? Families displaced by last summer's wildfires? Where's their check? What about veterans in Skid Row? Still waiting? But undocumented folks, Karen Bass is moving mountains for them. And now there's a bill in Sacramento. Lawmakers in California want to move forward with a plan to finally fund black reparations. Sounds good on paper. But the real question is, why now? Why only consider it while Karen Bass races to protect people who aren't even citizens? The task force said black Californians are owed $800 billion. But when it's time to deliver, everyone backs away. Let me hit you with the numbers. They're proposing between $1.20 to $2 million per eligible person. Senate Bill 1331 just passed. A major hurdle. If it clears the Assembly and gets the governor's signature, it's law. Senator Stephen Bradford is pushing for California to own up to its racist past.
But here's what they're not telling you. California wasn't a slave state. And with a record-breaking budget shortfall, how's the state supposed to triple?
It's spending overnight? Higher taxes? More debt? Who's making sure the money even goes to the right folks? While this plays out, a young Latino man dropped a viral video mocking reparations. It blew up online. Tariq Nasheed shared it. People debated it. But pay attention, he had plenty to say about black Americans getting checks. Not a word about immigrant handouts in LA. That silence? Loud. This is what happens when immigrants get put ahead of black folks. Once they get citizenship, some start echoing the same anti-black views as the politicians that ignored us. I saw this living in California. In the 80s and 90s, Latinos were hustling hard selling fruit on the corners, struggling. Now their kids are citizens, and they're climbing fast. And instead of showing unity with black communities, some show cold disregard or even contempt. And Karen Bass, she's black, but you wouldn't know it by the way she governs. Just like Kamala Harris, immigration, Kamala's front row, reparations, she disappears. But she's still praised as a black icon because she knows how to season collard greens. That's how they do it as culture to win votes, but offer no policies in return. Brandon Johnson, same pattern. He leans on his roots but governs for immigrants. Eric Adams, he was immigrant first until the backlash got too hot. Now he's backpedaling. But let's be honest, these mayors are being used. Once they outlive their usefulness, they'll be replaced. Tossed aside like worn-out campaign signs. The truth is ugly, but it's real. Once the party is done with them, they're out. Karen Bass, Brandon Johnson, Eric Adams, they won't win re-election. And when they're gone, the cycle resets. Another black face. Same old policies. That's the political hustle. But anyway, I want to hear from you. It's your guy, back again with another dose of truth. Smash that like, hit subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.